Here in a minute, we're going to hear from a really enlightened brother, Godfrey, the comedian. He's really funny and got a lot of good things to say. He's going to break down this Melania Trump situation, and then I'm going to say a few words afterward about her weird, bizarre speech that she gave about not knowing Jeffrey Epstein and just knowing him and Maxine from social circles. But first, I want to touch upon the claim from the White House that Barron Trump is too tall to serve in the military. That's nonsense. The great Admiral David Robinson, well, he was actually a lieutenant, but that was his nickname. He was a great NBA legend. He forewent his first 2 seasons in the NBA out of the Naval Academy to play, to serve in the military. And he was 7 foot tall. Actually, this has it wrong. I know for a fact he was 7'1". But, regardless, he served. And it's just kind of ridiculous. I understand that Barron would go to college and probably be a commissioned officer. That's the only way I would have let my son serve too. But let's hear from Godfrey.
There goes Melania reading again. What's up with this? It's almost like an emergency speech she just made. What's up with that about Jeffrey Epstein? The timing is looking suspect. Don't you guys agree? It's looking as a little suspect. What's the problem? Why are you... She's rushing to make a speech. Somebody wrote it for her. She definitely does not write English herself. She just does not. I'd rather her speak in her language. What does she speak? Putin? What does she speak? What is she from? Slovakia, Slovenia? She's from one of those places where they be like, But yeah, I just think that speech is real suspect. It makes her look even more guilty. You feel where I'm coming from? Who told her to make a speech? But because Donald likes to come up with pop-up events. He's like, you got to make a speech. You got to. This Epstein thing is getting very bad. It's very bad. I think you should make a speech. Don't you think she should?
Yeah, it's all about the timing. I'm not like most people who are going to get hung up on it one way or the other. A person who thinks they're completely innocent would sit here with this bullshit of, well, of course they would defend themselves. Wouldn't they defend themselves? Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? And then somebody who thought that, they were for sure 100% guilty no matter what, hook, line, and sinker, would say, oh, that looks guilty. It looks, it's just, of course she would get out there and say that. Yeah, I don't really care about either one of those two factors when I investigate something. I'm looking at where things lead me and things go with no fucking judgment. The timing is suspect. The reason she would do it is suspect to begin with. You could say, well, maybe she was trying to play on some sympathy. Maybe she was trying to head something off at the path. No, it's just funny. It's all about the timing. It's, like I've been saying forever. If they really wanted to get to the bottom of this situation with Epstein Island and those girls, if either side really wanted to, they would forget about all that shit for a second. They'd forget about the Trumps. They'd forget about the Clintons. They'd forget about Joe Biden, Joe Blow, Joe Schmo. They'd forget about even the girls for a minute. And they would focus on what happened the night the power went out at that prison where Epstein died or supposedly committed suicide. Why is there that missing film? Why? And you can't just stop at, they FBI destroy shit, they do that, they do that. Yeah, I understand that, but what was their initial reasoning? Was it because the power was out? There was a power flicker? Why didn't the power generator, the backup work? Those come on in a split second. And I'm talking about it just, some not very high budgeted facility, hospital, you name it. They come on in a split second. For a high-profile prisoner like that, should have been no question, should have been a third backup. Okay, so that being said, say that didn't come on. Say all that shit was completely fucking legit 100%. It doesn't wash because nothing happened. The warden should have been fired. The warden and the head CO that night, the commanding officer in charge, should have been terminated. And if the CO is part of a union, he could have fought like hell to try to get some of his benefits back and get his job back. But because it's a union, you fire him first and let him try to come back to the middle to get some of it. You play hardball. That's what you do. And I'm a big-ass union guy, so, it's not like I'm anti-union. It has nothing to do with whether I'm anti-union or whether I love the unions or can't stand them. It's about getting to the facts. What happened that night? And the worst thing is even if all that, which I can't see, is on the up and up, even if all that was on the up and up, that prison warden has to go. Retired early or terminated. Just because he dropped the ball like that. And you don't, especially like that. Okay, and he can't try to blame the IT guy either. I've said that before. Even if it was the IT guy's fault, it would look suspect, and I wouldn't believe him even if I did. So you got to